Good evening, Wixman Ray, also known as Weatherman Ray. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. It's about 8:42 in the evening here, Central Daylight Time. All right, so got a couple things going on out there. Few minor systems, a little bit stronger system across the south there, but we'll talk about this. West, we got a couple waves going on. This stuff here out through Washington, down through Nevada and Utah, that's just some high clouds. It's really nothing with it. Really weak energy, no precipitation. But this stuff out here there's a couple waves. One here in Montana with some showers going on. I think there's a couple thunderstorms in there too, real isolated. And then another wave out here from say South Dakota through Wyoming, supporting another band of showers across parts of northern Colorado, Wyoming, and then to the Dakota or at least South Dakota. There might be a little bit up there in North Dakota with this. This is a whole different wave up there near Canada, and then maybe a little bit in Nebraska. Then got some clouds down in Kansas, but nothing significant. And with that, got a couple waves. You got like we've had this trough of low pressure up here again. So we got like there's probably a wave up here in Canada. This little weak wave going across the UP of Michigan. Might be a little bit of showers with that. If not, it's clouds, and there's some showers going through Michigan, Ohio, maybe parts of Indiana there with this wave. Another wave going through New York and Pennsylvania with a few showers. And there was a wave up here, but it looks like it's moved out of Maine, so mainly up in the Canadian side, up in Quebec and Ontario and whatever these little provinces are called, which I can't remember for the life of me. I went through them a couple months ago to try to remember them, and I don't remember. So here was that more significant front. It's moved offshore, like we talked about yesterday. It does stretch down towards the south, but nothing really with it down there. There's kind of a boundary left over. Probably it's a washing out stationary front with a couple thunderstorms across southern Louisiana into the northern Gulf there. And then we got a couple thunderstorms and showers across South Texas. The thunderstorms are mostly down into Mexico side here, but we got an upper level low. It's actually spinning back here, but some energy coming with this subtropical jet, and that'll bring a little more activity as we go through the next couple of days through the weekend across the south in the way of showers and thunderstorms. And and then there's this other little wave. I don't know if you want to call it a front or just a weak, like a trough, a surface trough, but there's a few showers back here in North Carolina. I don't think there was any thunder with it. If there was, it was real isolated, but yeah. And that's about it. Sorry, I've got bad allergies today. It's that time of year, man. They've been kicking up, causing me issues here. I had to shut the door so my eyes wouldn't tear up as much. I got, runny nose, itchy eyes, the whole 9 yards. So that's that time of year. Lovely, lovely. I always have allergy issues. All right, and I was on allergy shots up till last year, and then I moved to Elko, Nevada, and didn't really need the shots. And now that I moved back to Kansas City, I may have to get back on them. But we'll start in South Texas down here. This is a little bit of rain out ahead of that low pressure system that's farther to the west. There's some pretty good thunderstorms down there across Mexico there near Monterey and other areas. So there we go. Pretty warm across South Texas, 70s and 80s. As you go north, it's still on the cool side, some 60s up there. It's 8:45 now out there. We're already at 8:46 Central Daylight Time. Few showers it looks like across East Texas. Real light though. And there's those thunderstorms kind of south of New Orleans and across southern Louisiana down here where that old stationary boundary was. So just got a couple storms down in that area. Looks like a couple showers earlier across northern Louisiana, but they fizzled. Relatively nice across the southeast this evening in the 60s, some 70s out farther to the east over Georgia and South Carolina. There's some showers. Maybe there is a couple thunderstorms out there in North Carolina. It's in the 50s up here, so a little bit cooler, chillier for first week of May. Got some 80s across Florida, so pretty nice day, getting warm out there. As you head north, we still got all that cold air up here. 50s across the mid-Atlantic. Got some showers up near Buffalo and near Rochester and out down into central parts of Pennsylvania, just showers. So a few showers, like I mentioned, up in Michigan, Indiana, even back into Illinois. Really light, though, and some really light ones in Ohio. Same thing up here in the UP. You just got those little weak waves. So, and it's kind of chilly, 40s and 50s up here for the most part. There's a 39 showing up in the UP there. So, got 40s up in Caribou or in Maine. Caribou's one of the places there. Looks like the showers are just exiting the Caribou area. They're mostly now on the Canadian side, like we saw on those waves. But they're going to still see maybe some unsettled weather there for the next day or two, anyways. And then as we head west, not too bad out here. It's pretty dry out in this area, Minnesota and Iowa, parts of the Dakotas in the 50s and 60s. There's a showers moving into Nebraska, South Dakota. There might be a few showers in North Dakota, but if that's really light stuff. It may not even be reaching the ground. And then here's all these showers. There's some embedded thunder in some of this, sort of real isolated. It's been in the 50s. Got some 60s and 70s showing up there in Montana. Kind of chilly in Wyoming, still in the 50s. Denver's warm up to 63, so I guess all that snow they had probably melted if it's already up to 63. Maybe there's a few little bits in the shade. I don't know. Yeah, but they got a few showers out there. There was some stuff trying to develop over Utah, but it's so dry out there, I doubt there's anything reaching the grounds. But nice in Salt Lake City, 76 in Elko, 79 in Reno, and warming up to 91 in Las Vegas. So it's starting to get a little bit hotter out there. 94 in Phoenix, 97 out here, and this was his Blythe or something, Blythe Airport. So it's getting hot out there in the deserts of southern Arizona and southern California. Got some 80s going on in the Central Valley. Got some gusty winds, man. Looks like it's gusting up about 30, almost 35 miles an hour at San Francisco. Man, I don't know what causes those winds there, but I've seen that off and on over the last, I don't know, week or so. So yeah, I'm sorry, man. These allergies are kicking my butt. A little bit cooler there too. 57 at San Francisco at the airport. 65 in LA, a little warmer down there. Up to 66 at the San Diego at the airport there. Inland it's definitely warmer. It's getting closer to 70 as you head inland a little bit, and then as you go way out here, it's hot. So, anyways, that's enough about California. All right, is this thing not going to update? I think we've gone through pretty much. And last but not least, we'll talk about New Mexico. They got some 70s, 80 in El Paso, 73 in Albuquerque. Nice day out there. Getting to be warmer out there. That's it, man. That's it for the observations. We'll go to our whatchamacallits here, our global model. This is the GFS American model. Which I prefer to use most of the time. It does fairly well. In the convective season, or what convection means is showers and thunderstorms for layman's terms. But during this time of year, when you get that showers and thunderstorms, or as our meteorologists call it, convection, sometimes the GFS kind of broad brushes it. So it has a general idea where it's going to be, but it's not going to pinpoint like you're going to have a thunderstorm right over, say, Kansas City, or right over, Memphis, Tennessee. It could be 5 miles to the east or 50 miles to the east, or it's usually, in the ballpark, but you guys know this, if you've been following weather enough. And in fact, just so you know, precipitation is the most difficult thing to forecast, especially like the just the not so much the timing, although timing is part of it, but just the pinpointing the location. Precipitation is one of the more difficult parameters to forecast because there's so much involved that produces precipitation, especially when it comes to like thunderstorms. So, because with thunderstorms, you got to have the right ingredients. You got to have just enough instability, which is basically colder air aloft versus the warmer air below, and the temperature difference between the two. And the greater the temperature difference between, say, at 50,000 feet or 30, let's say 30,000 feet, and the surface means it's more unstable, or yeah, more instability. That's kind of how you can measure it, to explain it to you in layman's terms. And then you got to have enough moisture, and um, every location's a little bit different. Um, say out west in the deserts versus the plains or the southeast, just depends, on a lot of factors on if you have enough moisture to create a thunderstorm. So it's a very challenging thing to, but the models do very well for the most part. They're not perfect, but I would say 80, 90% they get the general area right. Sometimes they miss it. Just depends on the season. But anyways, I'm getting in the weeds about that, but I just want you to know that that's one of the most difficult parameters to forecast is precipitation. So just so you know that. So now you know from Wixman Ray. I don't know if anybody else has told you that. So anyway, so this is through midnight for the next couple hours tonight. So we see that rain with those couple waves, the showers out here through Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, that same area we saw where the observations were. And then these couple various waves across the Midwest, Great Lakes into the Northeast. And then you see that front, but it's pretty much not, it's gone. Bye-bye. What am I doing, Ray? I get my computer system messed up. Here's that rain in Texas. It may start spreading a little farther as that low pressure slowly gets east. It will definitely start increasing Friday and Saturday. We get through the next couple days. So, all right. So, um, that's, that, you see that it's already by tomorrow morning. It's increased quite a bit across Texas and Louisiana. So, the showers and probably some thunder maybe in the morning. So, so as we go through the day, yeah, kind of showers and thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast area, um, and then into Texas here. Um, so it'll be some. Not everyone's going to get one, but it'll be out there. I would say, pretty scattered to, maybe a little more numerous in some spots. And then we have this next little wave. This is that system that was coming out of here, out of Wyoming and Nebraska, South Dakota. That comes down here and creates some showers and storms across Missouri, down through Oklahoma and Kansas, and then back through the Midwest, extending all the way to Pennsylvania. So, um, could hit, be close to Kansas City, but it may go south of us since I live here tomorrow. But St. Louis may get in on them. Maybe Indianapolis might get a little bit. No, I don't think there's going to be a lot of severe. I don't think they painted anything. I think they have a little bit of a risk. I didn't even look, but uh, I might be lying to you. But in the south here, we'll have to take a look and see what if there is. Maybe there is that marginal risk through here, like there was yesterday. And then there's still those couple waves. A new wave comes into North Dakota. Got another wave moving through the Michigan, or not Michigan, Wisconsin, and the UP of Michigan. And then you got more coming into the northern Rockies, into Montana up here and those parts. So kind of the same story. That ridge is that we were talking about the last day or two is going to build over the west, so it's going to get warmer out here. That's why we were seeing 90s showing up down there in Phoenix. So It's going to continue to warm up for a lot of the west out here, but the pattern's going to be kind of like this. So you're going to have the jet kind of extending from Washington and dipping southeast through, say, Colorado into Texas. So, yeah. So it'll be oriented like that. So that's why you keep seeing these little systems develop down here across the plains and then push southward. So that's for tomorrow night. That low pressure in Mexico moves out, and you're starting to see the southeast, from Louisiana all the way to Georgia with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. That'll probably extend into South Carolina, a little bit up into Arkansas and Tennessee too, and Texas too, southeast Texas, anyways. So it'll be pretty wet for many spots. Not everyone was going to get wet, but a lot of areas will, especially as you get into Saturday. Looks like a couple waves, another wave coming into Nebraska and Iowa, and another one back here in Wyoming, Montana. And then it looks like this little wave, this was this one out here in the Midwest, kind of pushes out through the mid-Atlantic and Northeast on Saturday evening. And then you got a little front coming out of Canada here, causing some precipitation across Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and Michigan there. At least early on in Michigan, mostly up into Canada there. So that's Saturday evening. As we go through Sunday, another system develops out here. We got another little frontal system, kind of a weak, almost a warm slash stationary front up here from Indiana, Ohio, down through Missouri and Kansas and Oklahoma. Probably some showers and thunderstorms will be going on down here in the morning. And then as you go through the day, that front will kind of dip south, extend from the northeast all the way through like Kentucky, Tennessee, and down through Arkansas. There could be some isolated severe, but I don't think this is a real good setup. You got another front pushing out of Canada. This is where all the cold air is going to be, like northern plains, especially Minnesota, all through the Great Lakes in the Northeast. I don't think it's going to extend as far south and be as cold as this last time we had this past week. But yeah, and looks pretty wet across the Southeast still, as that low pressure, all that moisture and that energy is still over the South here with showers and storms combining with this little frontal system moving down. And as you go into Monday, that slowly pushes to the south and east, with the front kind of laying from, just maybe getting close to offshore, but through the northeast, through the mid-Atlantic, and then down through the south here into Texas. So you'll see a lot of rain probably up in this area, and then showers and thunderstorms on Monday back here. Yep. And then it looks like we got another developing system early next week, but we're not going to get that far out yet. I'll start talking about early next week, probably tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah, probably. Yeah, tomorrow or Saturday. So I'll have a little more time on my hands while I decided to resign from my current job. Um, I won't say what I was doing at this point. I want to keep myself private, but had some bad things happen at work today, and I resigned, so I wasn't treated well. So I'm gonna have a little more time on my hands, but I have another job opportunity that'll keep some income coming in, and then there might be something coming on down the line for me, uh, more weather related, because I'm not doing a weather related job right now, but coming up towards later on in the summer, which might just happen. We'll see. We'll see what we decide to do. All right, that's all I've got. I was going to show you the storm outlook, the Storm Prediction Center outlook. So for today, really not much, because there wasn't much going on. A few areas of thunderstorms here and there, like I kind of pointed out, but we're not going to go over that again. So tomorrow, yeah, a little marginal, nothing too big up Missouri through down through the south here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, along the Gulf Coast into northern Florida, and then around South Florida with that low pressure that's coming out of Mexico. So it's a marginal threat. Looks like the tornado threat, a little bit in Oklahoma there. The wind and hail threat, is kind of low, but so there could be a couple of severe storms. I wouldn't get too, but there ain't going to be any outbreaks by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, these systems, this couple systems aren't super strong, and they're just not a good setup for severe. But if you can still get a couple good thunderstorms, especially with fronts and energy going through the atmosphere, so you can still get a couple severe here and there. Whoops, clicked the wrong thing. And that was Friday. For Saturday, same deal across the Gulf Coast, if it'll come up down through here where we saw that stuff coming across Texas through the south with that energy coming out of Mexico, and then it looks like some stuff over Oklahoma, maybe Kansas on Saturday. So I think we saw some activity popping up there. After that, they don't really have any confidence, and I wouldn't get too excited about anything. So kind of a lull, there's still marginal risk. So it doesn't mean there's nothing, but nothing to get too excited about. It's not going to be like, probably not going to see any supercells, although you never know. You might get one, but you never know. But it's not going to be like, like we saw a few days ago or last week where you had multiple tornado warnings and multiple severe storm warnings. But we're still in the first week of May, almost, well, May 7th, almost through the first week of May here. But we still got all of May where the prime part of the severe weather season. So we got plenty of time to get more severe weather. So we'll see how it goes over the next couple weeks here. You can get it anytime, really, any time of year, but the more favored season is like, through May anyways. So we'll see how, but the weather, never goes by normals all the time, as with the climate changing, it decides to do its own thing sometimes. You can get severe thunderstorms in July and August too. Sometimes outbreaks, it just depends on get a strong enough system with enough dynamics and everything else lines up, and there you go. So, all right, that's all I've got to say today. I was, nah. I was gonna show you the temperatures. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? This is a weather thing here, so let's update this and see what we got for weather. So this is today. We're pretty much done with today, so let's look at tomorrow. Yeah, so we see even through the plains, it's warming up into the 80s and 90s here for tomorrow. Pretty warm across the west. A lot of 70s and 80s, 90s farther south, getting close to the triple digits down there. It looks like. A little bit cooler air still trying to hang on across, say, Indiana southward through Georgia. Still got some 70s for highs. So, that's still pretty pleasant for early May. So, and then you still got some 50s and 60s and some 40s hang on up here across northern Minnesota and the UP of Michigan. But yeah, so you still got a little cold air back through here. As you go into Saturday, yeah, you can kind of see that's where it stays kind of cool. It cools back down a little bit through the central plains here. That's because we're going to get another little that weak front, I think, coming through. It's going to drop the temperatures a few degrees, 5 to maybe 10 degrees out here through the central plains. Still getting pretty warm out here in the west, 80s, some 90s, 100 showing up already, all through the west. Getting pretty warm across the south. Even with that rain, it's still going to be, pretty 80s across here. But that's a warm system coming since it's coming out of Mexico. So, like I said, the cold air, the cooler air, they'll stay up here in the northeast Great Lakes area for the most part. If you go into Sunday, kind of the same idea here. Boom. Cooler out here, even through the mid-Atlantic. Cools down a little bit out here. Could be because of that rain and clouds at 70s. Look at that. It's starting to get back up into the 90s out here. Still pretty warm across the west. The northern part is not that bad, but I mean 70 in Seattle and 81 in Portland, man, it's pretty warm for them. And by Monday, look at that. We'll just go through Monday. Man, most of the country's pretty warm. It's still cool. This whole area just has been having a cool spring. So a lot of mostly 50s, up in through here 60s. Still a little bit cool down through parts of the southeast, through Georgia and South Carolina, some mid 70s, but overall not that bad. I mean, I like that kind of weather. So that's it. That's all I'm gonna tell you about the weather. I appreciate y'all being here. Please spread the news, spread the good news about this weather channel. I try to teach you and learn, just like I told you about precipitation and forecasting that. Hey, maybe you learned something new today. I try to, maybe give you something new each day, or maybe you've already learned it. But hey, I'm trying. So hey, have a great day. Great weekend coming up. Thank goodness it's Friday tomorrow. I know I'm gonna have a better day tomorrow because I'm not going to that dreaded job that I just quit today. So hey, appreciate y'all. Wix Man Ray out.